Good morning, UPBOptionMillionaires.com on this June 29, 2017. It's a Thursday, about 10 minutes before the opening bell. NASDAQ futures are pulling back. We saw this morning weakness here for the NASDAQ. Actually, after the new all-time record highs hit, and that Friday, we started to pull back for absolutely no reason other than hitting new all-time record highs. This morning, with the bank stress tests out, everything should be up. We have Federal Reserve Chairperson Janet Yellen saying earlier this week that there's no crisis coming. There's none. Folks, there's no reason to sell. No black swans, no green swans, no yellow swans. Federal Reserve always spot on about finding those crises well before everybody else. As such, NASDAQ pulling back 0.65%. I guess just another dip to be bought, as we saw yesterday at the lows. QQQ was down at 137, and then we had a spike up before the market opened as Mario Draghi's comments supposedly were misinterpreted. That was the excuse to get us up to 140 on the QQQ, a $3 move off the lows, 1.4% move to the upside. Now we're pulling back a bit. If you look, though, the NASDAQ looked like some sort of a bear flag forming after that move to the downside. We broke out of it, and then we broke to the downside. Kind of a rope-a-dope, and it's been tough again, kind of the epitome of this market, where you think you're going to get some sort of a downside move, it reverses course. If you look small caps, though, and S&P 500 futures, more of a consolidating fashion here. If you look, a nice pattern here for the S&P 500 futures. And also, if you look small caps, we can pull up the Russell, a nice flagging pattern here as well, consolidating really since the election move, setting up for a possible, if you draw a trend line across here, possible breakout to new all-time record highs. On the flip side, we have the VIX continuing to break down. It's actually up over a little over 10. But again, low volatility, usually leading to higher stock prices. Speaking of higher stock prices, how about FedEx yesterday? Stock was halted. Virus supposed to affect results, and stock moved to record highs. So virus per share numbers expected to surge next quarter. Speaking of surging, Constellation Brands over 200 today on earnings before the bell. Again, S&P 500, and you can look also at the NASDAQ. On a monthly basis, really over the last 10 years, look at this. We had the financial crisis. This is the financial crisis back here. Look at this. And look at the action we're seeing now. It's almost an inverted financial crisis. And really, if you look at the bank stress test yesterday, revealed that every bank decided the Gamma Quadrant, maybe a few Klingon and Romulan banks on the other side of the Gamma Quadrant, not doing so well. But here in the U.S., everything is awesome. Bank of America now can buy back $13 billion of its own stock. That's great. All the banks look in the mirror this morning. They just love themselves. They just want to throw billions of dollars at themselves to inflate their stock price. And it's working. JP Morgan Chase up near all-time record high. XLF breaking out over the 25 level. Look at this flagging pattern. We're actually over 25 here for the XLF here this morning. That's going to invoke a possible move to new all-time record highs for the financial sector. Wow! That could be what's going to carry this market one more leg higher as the anti-crisis rally continues. There's no crisis on the horizon. Not in my lifetime, not in yours, folks. We live in a utopia. Pretty soon, we won't even have to get out of bed. Everything's just going to be, we're going to sit in this really comfortable chair. Everything's just going to be fed to us. Food, entertainment, whatever we want. After the bell today, we have Nike earnings. That's on the blog at Option Millionaires. Look at this nice pattern here. Could possibly break the 50 and below, or we're going to break out over 60. Strangler straddle, possible trade there. MU, which is coming up now to the 2014 highs. I think that's the likely move to the upside over 35 for MU. Remember the last earnings report? I believe it was down here. Bing! So that's something to watch for. One thing I watch with the NASDAQ here, just on a shorter term, and you see it's just been chopping all over the place. Momentum still remains negative territory. And then also look at the S&P 500 ETF, the spiders. We got the sell signal, we're pulling back. Small caps, also negative momentum. But again, we have the trend line. We can draw across here. We break out new all-time record highs for all. And the NASDAQ's got a lot of catching up to do. All right, UPBOptionMillionaires.com. About 10 minutes before the opening bell, going to get going. But I'll see you in the chat room. Everyone have a great trading session.